Hello, Phoenix Risers. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I wanted to hop on tonight with a message for you guys. I have some new energy, some planetary shifts that I wanted to share with you. Also, we're now in Virgo season, well into Virgo season as of for the last week. So I wanted to come on and share a message with you guys. Also, share some insights of the Hermit, which is associated, as you know, the Hermit is associated with Virgo in the tarot, and share with you some. It's kind of like a psychological and esoteric hybrid approach to the Hermit. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about that. Pull a couple cards from the tarot, uh, Clarity Tarot, and then pull a card for you guys from Mystical Healing. Some guidance there for you. So let's get started. Happy birthday, Virgos. My love is a Virgo. His birthday isn't until the 7th, but we kind of had like a little early celebration yesterday, brunch with some other people. But happy birthday. I'm welcoming Virgo season. I feel like August just kind of flew by, and um mm, it was a kind of a mix between some some really joyful energy, but also really challenging energies too. And I feel like this month isn't going to be much different. However, much different as far as um, the flurry of energy, the intensity of energy. However, the combination, the energetical soup, if you will 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 change and has changed. So, Virgo's an earth sign. It's very much so um, grounded and um, having to do with well, when you think of the Hermit, you think of internally looking within and shining that. If you look at the tarot, the depiction of the Hermit on the traditional Rider Waite tarot, you have an old man, Virgo, and the Hermit, which represents Virgo, is about embodied wisdom. And so you see this wizened old man with this Gandalf looking guy with his staff and long silver beard and his lantern. That lantern is supposed to shine the light on all the dark inner corners of your being. So uh, and of course, the typical characteristics that go along with Virgo, like detail oriented, being practical and analytical, and paying attention to details. So, did I say that? Detail oriented? Yeah. Detail oriented. Also, um, very practical and hardworking too. Virgo rules the body, and so when you think of Virgo and the characteristics associated with it, you think in terms of health and your physical body and your well-being. It's a very dense, heavy, earthy, down to earth, grounded energy. So what else? What else do we have for Virgo as far as characteristics? Um, well, that's mainly it. And in a little bit, we'll get into some of the archetypal characteristics of the Hermit, so that we can all use that energy and embody it ourselves and use it to our advantage during this Virgo season. So we'll get into that in a little bit, but I also want to touch on a few of the major astrological shifts Not much has changed with some of these larger outer planets, so I'm not going to go into any of those again. If you want to listen to some of the things that are happening with those planets, you can listen to some of my other videos. But I do want to touch on Mercury right now conjunct Mercury in Leo conjunct Ketu in Leo. So we don't hear too often about Ketu. Ketu, because Ketu is not a planet. It's not a planet. It's not a star. It's a node. It's a lunar node, specifically the south node. And like Earth or any south node, it has to do with our karmic past, and um, uh, wisdom and information that we've already learned. So um, if you think about if you think about um, the moon, so because it's the south node of the moon, if you think about the characteristics of the moon, you think, having to do with things that are hidden, like the subconscious, our deep emotional waters, and um, our intuition, our emotions, our psychic abilities. Um, what else? I wrote a few things down. I don't want to miss anything. Um, you know, some of the traits of Ketu have everything to do with the moon. So it also represents, mystical experiences, otherworldly experiences, and again, our intuition um, and our empathic abilities. So Ketu being the south node and having to do with our karmic past, it, let's see, what did I write down? It can trigger powerful spiritual lessons pertaining to um, uh, your wisdom, which your soul already embodies, because your soul has had many incarnations. You've had many lives, and you as a person may have forgotten, your past lives and lessons learned from those past lives, but your soul doesn't forget. And you're so that memory, that soul recognition, that soul memory is embedded within your DNA, your bones, your blood, your water, your emotional waters. So it could trigger um, moments of spiritual enlightenment, or also it carries a level of detachment as well. So and this is uh, Ketu has to do with Vedic astrology, by the way, and also mm, when it bringing a level of detachment, um, it leads to feeling like you're needing to let go, and then also providing you with that spiritual liberation. So the actual term that's referred to that detachment energy is mashka energy. So it's considered a significator of a spiritual awakening, detachment, and enlightenment, and moving beyond material illusions, and which is interesting too, because with us being in such a grounded sign associated with material, of course, Virgo's ruled by Mercury, and Mercury rules the mind. So we have both Gemini and Virgo ruled by Mercury, but of course, Mercury out acts differently in each sign, so in those two signs. So when you think of Gemini and how Gemini responds to its mercurial ways, it's more of a, I think, communication and more of an external expression. more of a creative external expression versus, and it's an air sign, which is often kind of detached, has a detached air to it. And then when you have Virgo and how Mercury um, responds or interacts with Virgo, it's more of an internal expression or reflection, really, than expressed outwardly through physical action and like work and physical manifestations. So money, material possessions. So it's a little bit different, and both represent the magician as well, or both, because it's Mercury. Mercury is the magician in tarot. So you have Gemini and Virgo represented underneath the archetype of the magician in tarot. So it's you have one manifestation through thought processes and communication, and then Virgo, who manifestations through um, thought processes internally. So shining that light on internal aspects and also viewing external information through multiple lenses of perception. We'll get to more of the psychological and esoteric um, aspects of it when I get to Tarot for Change, but it touches more on it on the path of the hermit. It's like the middle way, the path of the middle way, or something like that. We'll get to it more in detail. So anyway, with Ketu being with Mercury and Ketu being conjunct in Leo right now, it and really that's only for as of today. We're going to have Mercury change signs as of tomorrow. Mercury will be moving into Virgo, its home. Well, not its home, but Virgo ruled by Mercury. So the communication will be a lot different. It'll be um, again more analytical and more grounded communication. So anyway, with that being said, let's see. Um, oh, so with Ketu and its characteristics being conjunct with Mercury in Leo, it can bring about um, sudden changes in, because again, there's that level of detachment. So it can bring about sudden changes in relationships, um, also in not just relationships, but even in maybe your career, your jobs, sudden changes there. Um, Also sudden endings or separations, uh, upheaval. Think uh, think the tower or death in tarot. It's a very scorpionic energy. Scorpio. Uh, the tower and death is both ruled by Scorpio or Scorpio. Yeah, represented by Scorpio in tarot, and it's think upheaval and something dissolving, and um, in order to fine tune and create something else. So it's making room, creative or not creative, energetic space to create something new, and more meaningful in your lives, whatever it is you're wanting to consciously create. It's giving you that opportunity to go within, reflect, shine the light on all those deepest, darkest corners of yourself, using each other as mirrors to reflect by paying attention to your triggers. um, part of this energy um, part of this energy is to expect sudden triggers that could lead to your spiritual awakening, which is transformational. So, and when you think transformation, think entirely new, rebirth. So it's not something light, something. It's big. It's a huge deal, but ultimately, it's for you. It's if you surrender to the energy or know how to work with the energy to your advantage, then it's co-creating with the universe and not just falling subject to it or being a victim of circumstance, if you will. So um, it's like the difference between knowing there's a tornado coming right on your path and being able to shelter comfortably and even make it enjoyable while you're down there. Maybe take some games, pack some fruit, pack some entertainment, get cozy down there because there's a storm coming. So, it's the difference between that and not knowing that there's a tornado coming and then whew, your house is, and you are your house, your body is your temple, and Virgo rules the body. So, uh, that's the difference. that energy is the difference, and knowing how to work with that and use it to your advantage is the goal to co-create, consciously co-create in a way that is um, beneficial for you, something that you want, and again, not just a victim of circumstance. So my shoulders are killing me. My upper shoulders are killing me. I've been lifting weights, y'all. I've been and I had a weight class yesterday that my love hosted, and I've been doing weightlifting too on my own here, and woof, my upper shoulders also. I think it has to do with the energy too, where I'm holding tension and trying to release myself. I mean, I'm part of this collective too. I've been dealing with these energies as well, the best I can, and really trying to lean into it and work with it and co-create. So, um, getting out in nature, listening, first of all, listening to my intuition, which I would encourage all of you to do too. Listen to your inner guidance and your intuition. And my intuition was telling me to connect to my body, focus on my breathing, get out in nature, and be grateful wherever you can. Whenever you find yourself in this negative downward spiral or this woe is me or pessimistic frame of mind or attitude, the quickest way to turn that around, or to at least get yourself consciously aware of the negative pattern that could send you into a downward spiral, and catching it where you can, so that it doesn't create a snowball effect and you start creating unconsciously from that state. So the quickest way to alchemize some really negative heavy emotions, if you're just with your mind, is to go down a list of things that you're grateful for. And even if it's just for the clothes on your back, or waking up with a roof over your head and food to eat, or companionship, somebody to share your life with, or communicate with. There's so many things to be thankful for. And the more you practice an attitude of gratitude, the easier it becomes, and the more things you recognize that you have to be grateful for. So there's that. Let's see what else. Um, let's see what else. That's Ketu in that's Ketu with Mercury, conjunct Mercury in Leo. Okay, so then we also have, as of August 28th, and this is one of those long aspects where this change is going to be in effect until 2027. So, and that is Uranus sextile Neptune. So it's considered rare and historically transformative. So, and this again is happening until 2027. And what this does is, I mean, Uranus, it's associated with Aquarius. And when you think of the energy of Uranus, think sudden upheaval, again, tower like energy, awakening type energy, judgment, um, death and rebirth. So we have a lot of planetary aspects going on aside from the one I just read, that are attributing to these spiritual awakenings that are happening, unfolding really at a rapid speed. So we're here to navigate it the best we can. So Uranus sextile Neptune, what that means, it fosters awakening, but also expect creative breakthroughs and visionary insights. It's a great time to collaborate, think collective imagination, and deeper intuitive alignment. So again, themes of tapping into your intuition. Neptune is think characteristics of Pisces, and right now are the planet of Earth. The nodes are in Pisces and Virgo, and our north node is in Pisces, and our south node is in Virgo right now. So um, it's a very intuitive, imaginative, creative, and spiritually rich time. Again, Pisces is our oldest sign in the zodiac, and um, closely related to mysticism and spirituality. Can I talk? Spirituality. Why is that so hard to say right now? So it's a great time to create, to write, journal. Really a great time for any kind of creative expression of any kind. Also, collaborations. It's a great time um, to mindfully and intentionally use the internet to your advantage. Social network platforms to your advantage, intentionally, again, mindfully, in a way to collaborate and or um, use your creative expression or express yourself creatively. So there's that. Also, we have as of the 29th, so yesterday, Pluto uh, went out of bounds. Okay, so when you hear, and of course Pluto's an Aquarius, but when you think of Pluto going out of bounds, my initial thought was, oh, good, get out, less effect. No, it intensifies its effect. So, and again, Pluto is the tower, death and rebirth. It's upheaval, destruction, dissolution, um, complete upheaval. So, and it's out of bounds right now, and it's intensifying the energetic effect of that. So, this could cause systemic, like on a grand scale, systemic upheaval, and also powerful transformations. Um, Transformations, though, begin within ourselves. So, how we affect change on a grand scale, a broader scale, first begins within, and then becoming that change we want to see, like that Michael Jackson song. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. All right, I can't sing, but you know the song. Everybody knows the song. Look at the man. It's the lyrics are true. Okay, you gotta start with yourself, and then reflect that out, and be the example that you wish to see. So, and then we create the change. We create the change individually. Individually, we are quite powerful, and together on a collective scale, we are even more powerful. So, keeping that in mind, what else? You're being called to dismantle the old, let it go, surrender to it. The more you fight it, the more you resist change, the more it's going to affect you negatively. Because when you're in resistance to change, it's like you trying to hold on to um, something you don't have any, first of all, something you don't have any control over. So control what you can, and that's the internal stuff, and let go and release the what you can't. And everyone's going to feel this energy. It's so powerful and so transformational. So you don't feel like you're uh, just reactive, having a higher perspective and a deeper understanding of the energies at play allows you to better prepare and better reflect and say, oh, and recognize that, I may be feeling like I want to rip somebody's head off because the energy at play here. And then it kind of allows you to take the observer effect, kind of detach, step back, and, you know, become the observer of your thoughts. And so that way you don't have to react on every single thing. You can allow those emotions to pass through you without you holding on to them or acting them out um, unconsciously and projecting onto others negative emotions, powerful negative emotions and intentions unintentionally. So, something to be mindful of. And let's see. So yeah, you're being called to dismantle the old and allow for the rebirth, allow for the transformation, because you'll be like the phoenix rising, especially if you're consciously co-creating the reality that you want to create and staying in a mental disposition that allows for flow instead of going swimming against or trying to hold back a tidal wave, you know, instead of trying to hold it back or hold back the ocean with a thimble, you know, just surrender and swim, flow, and allow, and um, do those things that allow you to stay grounded and centered in your body and allow heavy negative emotions to flow through you, preferably as quickly as possible. You know, we're all human. We're all going to feel these feelings, these dualistic feelings, and this tension and the the effects of this transformational energy. So, um, if you can just, yeah, embody the magician within you, then yes, you can better use it to your advantage. So that's that. It's actually a very beautiful alchemical process that's going on. Very beautiful transformational energy if you allow it, and you can use it for to really turn your dreams into reality. I'm hearing that song. I'm hearing it, but I can't sing it. So, but the course is dreams to reality, dreams into reality. All right, so that's what I have for our astrological aspects. I want to share with you though um, a little bit though of the archetypical energy of the hermit. In order for you to tap into that Virgoan um, energy, that archetypal energy, and use that to help you. So, the Hermit, which is 9, and again, we're in a 9 year, and 9 represents completion, um, and 9 also represents the Hermit in tarot. So The ninth major secret, the Hermit, is often interpreted as relating to the peace and prudence that come from walking what Buddhists call the middle path. In the words of Buddhist monk Ahan Ka, you see both sides, so you have peace. If you only see one side, there is suffering. Once you see both sides, then you follow the middle way. This is the right practice of the mind. This is what we call straightening out our understanding. The lesson of the hermit, the spiritual aspirant, is learning to dwell inside liminal space between extremes because poles are illusionary by nature and breed suffering. The Christian version of a middle way might be the middle point that's formed by the two lines of the crucifix, which brings together cerebral intellectuality and spontaneous spirituality. In dialectical behavior therapy, it might be the wise mind. And again, the hermit represents wisdom, embodied wisdom, wisdom embodiment. Space where our emotional and rational minds link, and we can draw a bit from each to formulate our knowing. Because too much logic or too much emotion creates distorted understanding and thereby suffering. And in Western esotericism, Hermeticism, specifically the middle way, is the ideal of the totality of things, where nothing is black or white, this or that, all or nothing. Seeming opposites are identical in nature, different only in degree. So, and then also I highlighted here, peace is not available in the land of opposites. So if you think about it, the middle way is, and the hermit is that bridge between not only um, your mind and your heart mind coherence, but it's also that bridge between our physical reality and the liminal space that I feel like it's not just it's our physical reality, our mental perceptions, and then the space between where we take on the role of the conscious observer. So it really is looking at things from all perspectives and angles, and ideally um, ideally taking the higher perspective from the lens of your higher self. But again, everyone is where they are, but at the highest octave um, of Virgo is embodied wisdom and able to uh, what is it trans anyway, travel that middle path, that liminal space where you are able to um, go inward and reflect and not be so reactive, but um, take the higher perspective. All right. So, excuse me. That's what we have for our tarot for change. I want to go ahead and pull though from our clarity tarot. Also, I want to pull from this deck specifically because the energy at play. I don't remember if I mentioned it earlier when I was talking about the energy of Ketu, um, or let me see, let me go back. The energy of Ketu, but uh, there's could be moments of fog and confusion of even though we are in Virgo season where it ideally typically usually has to do with mental processes and mental clarity too, but because of the other energies at play, um, like Mercury and Ketu conjunct in Leo, that can create moments of mental fog and uncertainty It's especially, I don't think I mentioned this, but especially in uh, finances and or in decisions. So be careful when making decisions related to your finances right now. And I think I wrote something down. What did I write down? Oh, yeah, slow down. So, yes, okay. Mercury conjunct Ketu Leo. Yeah, I don't think I mentioned this. Um, a blending of rational Mercury with elusive Ketu can bring moments of confusion, mental fog, and impulsive decisions, especially around finances or critical thinking. So, yeah, you're just going to want to slow down a little bit and avoid rash decisions and choices. However, again, the Mercury is moving into Virgo tomorrow. So, you know, you're going to have a little bit more mental clarity, more grounded communication again. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. The day's almost over. And by the time I upload this, whatever. um, but however, sometimes there's lingering energies, post shadow effects of energy. So if you do happen to feel this energy for the next couple of days lingering, don't be surprised. I, however, feel like I'm starting to feel the effects of the new energy, coming in tomorrow. Like I feel like I'm starting to get more organized and more focused, less leaky energy, able to um, utilize my time better in a more organized, productive way. So there's that. So what we're going to ask, because of the fog and the uncertainty, we're using our clarity deck, clarity tarot, and we're going to ask spirit, how can we use the archetypical energy of the hermit? How can we best use the archetypical energy of the hermit to consciously navigate our internal and external realities? That's a mouthful. That is a mouthful. Okay, so I could say it again. Clear the energy. Thank you, Spirit. What message, what guidance do we have? The collect. Dang it. Some flipped over, sorry. What message and guidance do we have for the collective, for their highest good? And how can we use the archetypal energy of the hermit to better navigate our internal and external reality? That one flipped over. Nice. Okay. Temperance. What else? Thank you, Spirit. Maybe two more. I won't try to flip out. Did like a little weird tumble. All right. Four of Swords. Good. Healing. Okay. Yes. Perfect. Thank you, Spirit. Seven of Cups at the bottom. Okay. So the first card out, we received Temperance. Temperance is major arcana for Sag. It's about balance and alchemizing, really alchemizing one state to another. In traditional Rider Waite, in this one, it's a little bit different, but in traditional Rider Waite, you have Archangel. I used to think it was Michael. Some people say it's Gabriel, but in other esoteric circles, it's a totally different angel. But widely known, it's my more widely known, it's Archangel Gabriel. So anyway, you have Archangel Gabriel, and he has his two cups. It's actually a card of fire and water. So it's like it's alchemizing heavy, passionate, fiery emotions that could be explosive and with a calming, cooler effect. Water, you think flow and um, cool cool it. It's a card of balance and emotional alchemy on a and it's major arcana. So it's like having um that archetypal energy backing you in order to do it. So it's really saying staying balanced and being able to consciously alchemize one state of being to another. It's like purifying the waters. So temperance. And then also the Four of Swords came out. The Four of Swords is a card of, it's the lesser arcana of the Hermit, and has to do with healing and going within and meditating. If you look at the Four of Swords on the traditional Rider Waite, you have a man laying on his back with, laying on four swords with a sword or three swords, and of course the Three of Swords has to do with like heartache um, uh, and pain and wounding, emotional or um, mental wounding and anguish, pain. And so the Four of Swords, it's like going and healing from that, going within and being in like this meditative, contemplative state. Again, it's the lesser arcana. Hermit is a major arcana, so it's the minor arcana of the Hermit. So that's totally appropriate. It's really needing to heal, take time and really be patient with yourself, allow yourself to heal and understand that there's things going on behind the scenes that you don't really have any control over, but you do have control over yourself and how you respond and how you show up and how you internalize things. So there's that. And then sandwiched, we have the Emperor, which has to do with leadership and stability. It's a major arcana, and it's four in tarot. Four is about foundational strength and stability, and the Emperor is a leader. It's like being the lead in your life. It's card of Aries, and very fiery. We have water, fire, and air here. So it's really becoming the leader in your own life, and um, taking your life into your own hands, taking your life, being responsible and accountable for your own life and your own actions and your own results. You know, you're not a victim. You're not a victim. You're a creator, and you are able to co-create with the universe consciously. So yeah, we can't spiritually bypass, and we can't there's always going to be the there's always going to be polarity, but the more centered we can remain, and the more we can embody that energy of the Hermit and walk that middle path, which is really being centered, grounded, present in the now, and allowing, the energies to, not hold on to emotions that don't serve, allow them to flow through you and not hold on to it. So it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel upheaval. It's okay to feel dark and down, but try not to stay there. How can you make it better? So that's our tarot. I'm going to pull a card from Mystical Healing Oracle and see what guided message I can leave you guys with as inspiration or motivation, or however it hits. All right. Thank you, Spirit. Oh, we're doing good on time. I mean, knock on wood. Every time I say that, I go over. All right. Let's see. I haven't used this deck in a long time. I think it's totally appropriate, though, for tonight. For some reason, I was called to use it. All right. Thank you, Spirit. What guidance do we have for the collective to lead them with as inspiration or motivation for their highest good? Two more shuffles. one. Oh, there we go. One came out. Recognize divine timing. Number 24. 24 reduces to a 6. A 6 is the lovers in tarot. Also has to do with, it's a card of Gemini, Mercury, a card of duality, union, relationships, balance, choices, decisions, masculine and feminine energy, balancing out your masculine and feminine energy. But it says recognize divine timing. I'm going to read it for you, but I feel like that's it's like the wheel of fortune in tarot. It's understanding that not everything is in your control, and just know that things are happening energetically behind the scenes, and it's best to flow with it, and be consciously aware of that in order to not suffer. All right, so 24, and then I'm going to leave you guys there. I'm feeling really good on time. All right, recognize divine timing. What you truly desire is on its way. To fully receive what you are asking for, you need to deepen your efforts on your inner preparation. Be aware that it will arrive at the exact right time when you are truly ready. If you are asking for a loving relationship or a friendship, become aware of what kind of person you would love to connect with. What qualities do they need to have? Start to work on those qualities yourself. Be open and receptive to this meeting. If you would like to develop your intuitive abilities further, then be willing to take the time to do the appropriate exercises to finesse your energy in order to create new powers of perception. If you want to start a family, work on greater intimacy, love, communication, and a healthy inner environment. If you are working on a business or potentially financially rewarding opportunity, know that it is coming. Take strong daily action to prepare for its success. Interesting. Action. Take some deep breaths in and focus on creating a sense of equanimity. Equanimity. I hope I'm saying that right. Equanimity in your body. Ask for what you desire, then add, I ask my higher self to bring ... State what it is into my life. State what it is ... into my life, or something much better in perfect time, in the perfect place for the highest good of all involved. Take some deep breaths. Imagine opening your heart and joyfully receiving what you desire. Express gratitude. We mentioned that earlier. Gratitude is really huge, especially, just being thankful for what you already have, you know, invites more things of what you want. So, express gratitude, knowing that what is for your highest good is coming. And that's where I'm going to leave you guys. At the bottom of the deck was temper your criticism, and that's number 33. Number 33 has been coming out a lot lately. Number 33 could be significant to you, also 6 or 24. But 333, that is a number of creation, manifestation, master teacher. Jesus was a life path, number 33, etc., etc. I'm gonna leave you there. Keep on rising, y'all.